Hello, how's it going? Matt Donovan here from itsworthashot.com and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. For those of you who haven't found your way over from my little swipey uppy thing in my Instagram stories, I'm a travel and landscape photographer based in Sydney, Australia. A few weeks ago, I put a Q&A slash ask me anything up on my Instagram stories. And these following questions are what transpired from said event. This is going to be a pretty rapid fire question and answer, so if there's any questions that you'd like me to elaborate on, please ask me in the comments below. So without crapping on too much, let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first question is, did I finish high school? Yes, I did. Not well, but I finished it. How long have you been using Photoshop? That's a good question. I've been using it since I was about 13, 14 maybe. So I guess 15 or 16 years. Far out. That's actually crazy to think about. What is your full-time occupation? I am a chimney sweep. Oh, sorry, I look like a chimney sweep. I'm actually a photographer, full-time, believe it or not. What country are you from? Australia. I've lived here my whole life and I can't even do an Australian accent. I've lost my place in the questions. Yeah. Best places to visit in Tassie. Cradle Mountain, obviously. Bay of Fires, Freycinet. Anywhere on the West Coast is amazing. And the entire Southwest region, not that I've seen a lot of it, but it's incredible and 100% worth visiting if you can make the trip down there. Favorite photograph? I don't know that I've got a favorite photograph, but I'm gonna put 3 up on the screen right now that kind of resonate with me and mean something to me. I have lost my place again. Favorite photographers. I have a lot of favorite photographers, but I'm just gonna put a few of my favorite landscape photographers. So first of all, I've got Michael Chamberlain, Mark Adamus, Ted Gore, Benjamin Everett, Daniel Tran, Luke Sharkey, 2 of my good friends. They inspire me every day. They are amazing. If you aren't following them or haven't seen their work, go and check them out. How do you stay inspired? That is a great question and I don't know. I actually have a lot of trouble with inspiration myself. Sometimes I'm super inspired and other times not so much. But I think the best thing I can recommend, especially for landscape photographers, is just to go outside and take photos, get out in the nature, get out in nature, and just experience what it has to offer. And honestly, inspiration will just come naturally. Favorite place you've visited and photographed? Again, that's gonna be Tasmania. I've been like 7 or 8 times now and I just can't get enough of it. It's amazing. I could spend a whole year down there just road tripping and I don't think I'd ever get sick of it. What is the most asked question? Believe it or not, this didn't actually pop up in this Q&A, but the most common question I get kind of on a at least weekly basis is, what do I shoot with? I predominantly shoot with, for the last 5 years, it's been the Sony a7R, and just recently I finally upgraded to the a7R III. And thanks to Sony, they actually released the a7R IV a week after I purchased it. So yet again, I still don't have the most current camera. No budget and you choose the client. Where do you go and which brand? That is a great question. 100% go to Antarctica and whichever brand wants to send me there. Most memorable landscape moment from behind the camera. Hands down, it's gotta be that one time that I shot a active volcano from the summit or the rim of the volcano. It was pretty much the most exhilarating experience of my life, and I got to share it with awesome people. I'm going to throw up a photo or a few photos from that afternoon. There's nothing quite like being incredibly hot and then 3 seconds later being freezing cold and having ash blowing in your face and trying to keep your lens and your gear clean. I actually lost a Canon 17-40 on that trip, rest in peace, due to the incredible amounts of ash on my lens. Little tip, don't wipe ash off your lens, try and blow it off. Lesson learned, I guess. So yeah, that's probably, no, it's definitely my favorite moment from behind the lens shooting landscapes. Just got a message from my mum. All good, just recording a YouTube video. This face. Yeah, where was I? What do you edit with more, Lightroom or Photoshop? 100% Photoshop. About 2% of my edit is done in Lightroom, and that's pretty much remove chromatic aberration and maybe adjust the exposure a little bit. That includes like highlights and shadows and that sort of stuff. But all my color and like kind of effects, I guess you'd say, are done in Photoshop. What lights are you using for this story? The story that they're referring to is the one I put up on Instagram just for the Q&A. And the lights I'm using for the story are exactly the same lights as I'm using for my YouTube setup. I've got a Photo Deox flapjack. It's the 18-inch, and I believe it's like somewhere around 1,000 lux. It's awesome. It's not the brightest light in the world, but for like a minimalist YouTube setup, this thing is perfect. It's big. It's big in terms of the size of the light, but the real estate and the footprint that it takes up is tiny. Like, it's got the name flapjack for a reason. And the lights in the background are, I've got Philips Hue lights here, and then behind my iMac, I've got some IKEA cheap LED lights that are also color changeable, and then I've got a little banana over here, which is a neon light. How do you start out making a career from your photography? When I find out, I will get back to you. What's the one thing you try and display in your work, e.g. aesthetic, emotion, etc.? I try and keep a consistent, very clean, kind of I guess a less is more approach, but I do like to show the big epic landscapes. I just kind of like a clean, crisp image with minimal distractions that gets straight to the awesomeness of whatever shot I am shooting. Does that make any sense? Probably not. Go-to places for photography research: Google Images, Google Maps, and PhotoPills. The reason I don't really like to go on like Instagram or especially 500px, I find that you're gonna be like bombarded with the best images from that spot, and there's a good chance if you visit that spot, you're not gonna get the same conditions they did, and you're just gonna be disappointed. So Google Images is full of just terrible midday light images. That's a great way to kind of get a feel for the land without pigeonholing yourself into getting that one shot. You can just kind of come away with a shot that you're happy with and you've got nothing to compare it to. Would you rather feet on your fingertips or hands on your toe tips? Definitely hands on my toe tips. I mean, how many times have you not wanted to bend over to pick something up? You could just like use your little feet hands and just go to town on the ground. Length of time it takes you to edit your shots. Between 20 minutes to a day on average. Sometimes I'll take a big break in between editing images, so I guess you could say weeks. In fact, I've got a bunch of images sitting on my hard drive right now that are going to require a lot more time than I've given them, and I can't picture in my head how I want it to unfold at this stage, so they're just kind of sitting there waiting. So it could take months, years. I might be dead before I edit them. Length of time it takes you to edit your shots. That's the question I just read. What gear would you recommend for a minimal travel setup? I would recommend either one of the A6000 series from Sony, so the A6300, 6400, 6500. or one of the Sony A7 series cameras. So the A7 Mark III, the A7R Mark III or 4, whichever you want. They're all amazing cameras, fairly lightweight. They've improved so much over the years, and in my opinion, they're the best cameras you can buy, full frame or APS-C. This is a good question. Are you okay? I appreciate that question, Simpson. And I have my moments, but for the most part, yes, I am okay. I hope you're okay too. And the last question is, will I ever dab into product photography? Yes, I actually do a lot of product photography, and by a lot, I mean not that much, but I really enjoy it, and it's something that, kind of like landscape photography, I can really just hone in, like focus exactly on what I'm doing and spend as much time as I want or need to get the best, cleanest image possible. And that's it, guys. Thanks for sticking around. This was kind of weird talking to a camera, and actually a little less awkward than I thought. I have no idea how this image is going to cut together. I know nothing about video, so this could make for a really interesting, awkward video. But I guess you guys know that right now. I got no idea. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave my link down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'll be uploading more content as I have the time to create it. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.